Hi guys, I'm so sorry the internet was not working this morning. That's very frustrating, but hopefully on Wednesday it'll be back to normal and I'll be able to see you all again in class. I did want to talk to you a little bit just to review what we talked about last week and then get you ready for our discussion on Wednesday. So for homework, you should have listened to the recording about these pictures from page 70. So you heard the interviews with the 3 different people about technology and what they liked about it and what they didn't like about it. So on Wednesday, we had started talking about advantages and disadvantages of technology. Each of the 3 people had different things to say. They had things they liked about it, things they didn't like about it, and things that even though they liked it, there was something negative about it also. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Hopefully you are also able to go through this new vocabulary. Some of it may have been new, some of it may have been old vocabulary that you already knew. What I would like you to do is, if any of these were new words to you, circle them. So circle them so that we can practice them in person on Wednesday. I'm going to read through them. After I say the word, I want you to repeat it so that you can practice the pronunciation. Convenient. Convenient. Distracting. Distracting. Innovative. Innovative. Spam. Spam. Devices. Devices. So on Wednesday, last Wednesday, we talked about devices. We talked about they are small machines that use electricity. Electronic. Electronic. Manual. Manual. And text message. Text message. Good. That T in text message, make sure you hit that T so it's not text message. Sometimes you will hear people say that, but try to get that last T. Text message. Good. We will go over that on Wednesday. I want to hear you all say it so I can figure out what our pronunciation is like. You should have also thought about these questions. So questions 1 and 2, do you agree with the people? Why or why not? And in general, do you think technology saves time, so makes things go faster, or wastes time, make things go longer? So if you have not already thought about those, think about them. We will talk about them on Wednesday. That is something I want to know, how you are thinking about it. If you have not already sent me your homework, please send it to me. Please take a picture of it and send it to me using Remind. That way I can mark it down that you did it and I know what we need to cover. Now, if you have any problems with that, just let me know and I can send you some more instructions. Now, on Wednesday, we are going to start looking at page 72. Page 72, lesson B, where it talks about clauses of concession. So a clause of concession. Now, that is a very fancy way just to say when things that you think should match up do not. So when you give a reason that is unusual for the result. Now, let me explain what that means. So when we looked at these 3 people, we had these 3 interviews. Number one, Mrs. Rosen says that she uses her address stamper. She likes to use it. And the reason is that it saves time. So she likes to use it and it saves time. They are both positive. They go together. Then for Mr. Chung, he talks about he doesn't like technology. He doesn't like to use it. He prefers to handwrite things. And the reason he gives is that he thinks technology wastes time. So he has a negative opinion and he has a negative reason. So they go together. They're both negative. But then we have Mrs. Morales, and she has a cell phone, and she likes her cell phone. She uses her cell phone, and she thinks her cell phone saves time, but she also says that it is expensive. It costs a lot of money. So she has a positive opinion, but there is also something negative. So that positive and negative that go together, how we would talk about that is with these clauses of concession, and specifically using the word although. Sometimes you will also hear people say even though. So although or even though, both of these mean the same thing, but even though is a little bit more common, so you might hear people say even though more often than they will say although, but both of these things mean the same thing. You can choose either one and they will be fine. Now, let's look at the example in the book on page 72. So your student book, page 72, here at the top, it says, although email is fast, Mr. Chung doesn't like to use it. So, although there is an advantage, although there is a good thing, Mr. Chung doesn't like it. He has a negative opinion of it. So, that although tells you these things are going to be unusual. It's not going to connect the way you are used to them connecting. Now, you can use this for technology, and we will be using it to talk about technology. But you'll also hear people say this for things that are for other things in life that have unusual connections. So if we talk about, I slept 8 hours last night, I'm still tired. Those things don't go together. I slept 8 hours, I did a good job, but I'm still tired. It has a negative outcome. So for that, we would use although or even though. So we could say, although I slept 8 hours, I am still tired. Or even though I slept 8 hours, I am still tired. So when things don't connect, we use although or even though. So if there is an unexpected result, we use although or even though to talk about it. So, for your homework, I want you to read through page 72, look at the examples, read through them, and try to do numbers 1 through 9. I know we haven't talked about it very much, so we will talk about it more on Wednesday, and I don't expect perfect answers on page 72. I just want you to practice using although to try to get the feel for how it works. So we will talk about it more on Wednesday, but if you have not, again, if you have not sent me this homework, please send me this homework using Remind and try page 72. We will talk about it more on Wednesday. So, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you again on Wednesday.